It was 172 years ago tomorrow, September 17th, 1849, that Harriet Tubman first set out to escape slavery. But that was only her first attempt.
She's not the only famous person in history to not succeed at the first attempt. Here to tell us more about that this afternoon is author of Secrets of the Eastern Shore, Mr. Jim Duffy. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
Give us the launching off place here. Give us a background of where we can get started with Harriet Tubman.
She was born into slavery in Dorchester County, near Cambridge. Endured a lot of the horrors of slavery in growing up. Two of her sisters were sold away from the family, kind of ripped out of the household and sold away somewhere south, never to be seen again. She had a lot of bad experiences, but she's in her late 20s when something changes that really drives her to search for freedom. And that change is the death of her owner. For enslaved people, that was a terrifying experience because estate issues. They had debts.
Oh, okay.
The survivors and the families had to sell things off. And as hard as it is for us to get our heads around it, instead of selling off furniture or a house or land, they would sell people off. So that was the driving force of her first run for freedom.
Gotcha.
So she attempts.
Yes.
It doesn't go well.
It doesn't go well at all. She convinced at least two, and possibly three of her brothers, it's a little unclear, that we had to run away before they sell us off. And they went off. They had no idea where they were going. They'd never been on the upper part of the Delmarva Peninsula. You can't ask for help because you can't trust anybody out there. You don't know anybody. The brothers got super scared, and the brothers convinced her to return back. So they came right back after a night of heading north for freedom. They came right back as a failure.
So did they stay back for long?
The brothers stayed back for long. Harriet did something else. She went out, realizing that she couldn't handle this on her own. She went out looking for help. And she took the risk of approaching a stranger, a white woman, a Quaker in Caroline County, and telling her that she wanted to find freedom. And so she got connected with this whole community of like-minded people along the Underground Railroad. She didn't tell anybody that she was going this time. She didn't tell her beloved mother. There's a wonderful scene where her best friend is working inside a kitchen and Harriet Tubman is outside the window singing this coded spiritual song, "I'm sorry I'm gonna leave you, farewell, oh farewell," while her best friend is working in the kitchen. And she went off through this community of like-minded people and the stations and the conductors and all the stories of the Underground Railroad. And she found it once she got a little help.
Do you think people know about that first try?
To some degree, yeah. To me, it's a really important story. And the same thing happened to Frederick Douglass. His first attempt was a complete and total disaster. He had a group of 5 people who were going to try and escape, and they had a boat that they'd somehow liberated and hidden, and they were going to run. The plan was terrible. He was super young. And his idea was they're just going to sail north up the Chesapeake Bay until they figure out maybe this is where this magical place called Pennsylvania is, but they didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to land and walk through. But they never got a chance to execute this dumb plan because one of the co-conspirators turned them all in. And he didn't try for several more years after that, and he did the same thing. He found some help. A woman named Anna Murray from Denton, who was a free black woman. She helped him find money. She helped him develop the plan. He ended up with some fake papers and a fake costume and riding a train from Baltimore, where he was living, up to freedom in New York. First thing he did in New York, marry that woman.
Smart man, right?
First thing he did was marry that woman.
Let me ask you a question then. We're always celebrating the success of the escaped slaves, the Underground Railroad, the wonderful things that. Why do you think it's important that we remember the failures too?
Yeah, we tend to put these civic heroes up so high on a pedestal of perfection.
Right.
Now, I don't know about you, but I've fallen flat on my face a few times. I've done it in the studio a couple of times. But their stories become more relatable to me when I can see that they too sort of fell on their face.
Right.
And that they responded to that by getting themselves up, dusting themselves off and going after it again and
quit.
getting her done.
And getting her
And they
done.
did it. And it's inspiring when you think of their journey through failure instead of just their journey to success.
It reminds me of that quote that says, "This thing we call failure is not the falling down, but the staying down." You know?
Amen, sister.
They didn't stay down.
Amen.
You know?
Got back up again.
Love that.
Amen.
That is good. Jim Duffy, author of Secrets of the Eastern Shore. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Wonderful to have you.